I'm going to be showing you guys how every top 1% player, or basically anyone who can go 20-0, plays in FUT Champions. So hopefully you guys can get some more wins by doing this. If you're tired of coming up against teams like this, you can get some FUT coins through MMO EXP using the link down below. You can also use code JambooUK for 5% off. So, disclaimer, obviously, you know, the meta at the top level, it's not always the most inspiring to watch, but if you guys want the best rewards, obviously it's team of the season at the moment, following, you know, this pattern of play is going to get you the most wins possible, and for some people, winning is enough. For some others, you know, the way you play matters more, but this is for those of you that want to win. If you could leave a like, that would be super appreciated. Let's try and hit 150, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe, and I promise I will make you better at FIFA. Let's get into the video. Okay, so we will be doing a live gameplay where I go through my whole thought process, you know, everything I do, I'm going to explain to you guys as I'm doing it. We're going to be using a pretty basic team for this, as I like to do, so there can be no shouts of like, of course I'm winning with this team, you know, whatever it may be. We're going to be going with, sadly, the 5-4-1. That is, you know, what every top player, for the most part, you know, I don't use it every like weekend league run, but if you're serious about actually wanting to get the most wins, it's basically what you're, you know, going to be using. It's the absolute best formation in the game. So if you have any questions about anything you're about to see, comment down below. I'll reply to every one of you. And let's get into it. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so we are getting into the game. As I've said before, I don't really pay attention as to, you know, which players my opponent's got. That's actually a question I do get asked a fair bit. My opponent's not actually moving right now, so I'm not really too sure what's going on. There he is. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, a lot of people ask about your opponent's lineup, you know, does it really affect anything? And I would say it's probably always better to focus on what you're doing, as we're about to actually probably concede here what is going on. Just focus on your own gameplay. I think people can get far too tied up in, like, you know, their opponent's team, what they're doing. You know, you're going to occasionally want to swap formation depending on what your opponent's playing, but that is about it. But anyway, let's talk gameplay. So, obviously, building up from around the back, you want to be super patient. With a 5-4-1 especially, you've got a lot of options out on the wings. So, a lot of the patterns of play you're going to see is switching from side to side, as we're doing now, and basically forcing your opponent into a mistake. They're going to get impatient. They're going to pull players out. To some people, this will be nice football. To others, it's very ratty, and I understand both sides. As we craft an opportunity there, you see the first one comes from a cutback. This is how I take my corners. Little step over, cross into the box, and then I very badly misaim the header there. Opponent has a goal kick. I'm going to spam offside traps. That is going to push my line forward and just give him a bit less space in the midfield to work with. You can see we win the ball back very quickly there. I've sent my player on a L1 run and then called him back with an R1. Really awful touch from my player there. You can see another offside trap. Just trying to keep that line nice and high. Not giving anything easy up. We win possession, but we're not just going to burst forward. We're going to make sure there's an actual opportunity. That's another mistake I see a lot. You know, people just continuously holding sprint, thinking that the only way to go is forward, and that is not always the case at all. So we're trying to line up a cutback here. His keeper has just performed absolute miracles. Another offside trap. I'm going to make sure I follow the runner here. He's probably going to try and play the through ball. Ends up getting shepherded out, partly due to the offside trap. And then we just go again. We take our time, trying to look for some wide options here, which we're always going to have in this formation. Try and play a little 1-2 into the space, and then we look for the cutback once again. R1 dribbling, and our opponent does deal with it well. A little bit of shielding in the box there, which is, you know, in certain situations actually pretty decent. But same again, we're in the wide position, taking our time, trying to wait for options. We'll recycle the ball when necessary. A little bit of R1 dribbling again, look for the cutback, and our opponent has done well. And it is very much the same thing over and over again. You know, another offside trap, and then when we win the ball back, we're going to be looking for those wide positions, taking our time in the play. It's very rare, you know, unless you do something very wrong, you're not going to lose the ball too much when building up in this setup using this style of play. It would be so me to lose the ball as soon as I say that, but we don't on this occasion. As you can see again, you know, simple passes, you get a lot of attacking options in this setup. So at this point, we do happen to be 1 goal down, but it's not going to affect the way we play. You know, these things can happen in FIFA for sure. Absolutely nothing to worry about. I feel like that's another thing, you know, that happens to a lot of people. They'll go a goal down and just lose their head. You can see an instant response there. And, you know, we just carry on as normal. It was a nice little player lock, which is something that I like to do out wide. Our opponent is probably going to be quitting the game now, and that tells you all you need to know about this style of play. You know, this guy's well in the game, he's drawing, and he still wants out of here. But we're going to try and go for the goal. He's doing anything he can to try and get that pause in. He's probably going to dashboard the game right now to stop us scoring. He isn't able to do it, and we do get our goal in. And I don't know what's happening here, because the pause is still queued. And yeah, I mean, he just closed the game, I think. But what I'll do is I'll jump into another one so you guys can actually see a tiny bit more of this. Okay, so loading into another game, and this is a good example and a chance to show you what to do from a kickoff situation. So a lot of people, I see them just charge at their opponent's defence, which is absolutely not what you want to do. Like maybe 1 in 10 times you're going to get a cheap goal by just running at your opponent. But for the most part, it's not going to work. What you want to do is take your time like this, just spreading the play, making your opponent, you almost want them to think like, oh god, like I'm in a game here. And that is exactly what we're trying to go for. So as you can see, we're taking our time, spreading the ball side to side, waiting for those opportunities to come about. We do have an option here, L1 sprint boost. We look for the cutback, but our opponent does cut it out very well, to be fair to him. He's gone for an over-the-top through ball, which is another very meta thing to do. But I did read it nice and early and brought my keeper out by holding triangle. So you can see here, I've sent my player on a run. We've gone for an over-the-top. Not quite enough on the pass, which means it didn't go through. Battling in the middle there, trying to get something going. There's a lot of crowding going on here. Not too much space to work with. He's gone for another through ball. He should have gone over the top there. Little step overs just to hold the ball up a little bit and turn back. R1 dribbling, which is something I use a lot on the wings. Outside the foot pass, I've triggered a run here for the overlap, but we're just going to recycle it anyway. Back into the middle, R1 dribbling again. Use the wide option, bit more R1 dribbling. It's very much the same thing over and over again right now. We're going to try that corner again because it didn't work out too well for us earlier. Step overs, cross to the back post, and our opponent somehow manages to get ahead on that before us. Here, offside trapping once again. Just trying to make sure that our line is nice and high. I tend to spam that, you know, basically every time the ball is in my opponent's half. You can see here I'm mixing the second man press with the right stick switching, tracking the run here, and our opponent has a very good chance. We get lucky, and now his team is forward, and we're going to try and hit him on a counter attack. You can see we used the step over sprint boost, and that is an awful pass from me. I'm playing really bad today, actually. We're going to step in there, holding the jockey button. A lot of people actually ask how much I hold the tackle button, and the truth is, press the tackle button, and the truth is, barely ever. For the most part, you can just get away with walking into your opponent, holding that jockey, and it is going to work for you. We're probably going to have to go for a ball roll scoop here. I am going to go for it to turn inside, but our opponent has defended it very well. A bit more of a sweatier opponent here. He's doing more of the meta things like the through balls and that sort of stuff. But we do have an opportunity. I'm trying to look here for R1 passes. Our player ran offside. That's so dumb. The attacking AI on this game is absolutely shambolic at times. Okay, so literally nothing else of note happened in the whole game, but I hope you guys enjoyed it up to that point. This one may have been a bit longer than my normal videos, so hopefully that didn't bother you guys. But if you enjoyed it, please do leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you on the next one. Let me know if you've got any questions, and peace.